From the private studios of the Sports Super Genius, you are listening to the podcast of George, the Sports Super Genius.
Super Genius.
He's getting your views and opinions out there on the news you want to hear.
You heard him on iTunes, the World Wide Web, and YouTube. He's covered the College World Series, MLB, the NFL, and college football. Now,
here's George, the Sports Super Genius.
Oh, the mighty have fallen. Alabama, my second number one team, has finally went down. You know, that's kind of expected, though. The problem with that I see right now, the way the NCAA works, is Alabama can go ahead and win the rest of the season, win the Southeast Conference Championship, then march all the way down to the national championship game. Nebraska, if Nebraska falters this weekend against Missouri or even Iowa State, they will not have that chance. They will, even if they win the Big 12 championship, Nebraska will not be given a second chance. That's the thing that I don't understand about the Southeast Conference, these power conferences. I don't get it. And now the whole league is going through it. The Big 10 is actually thinking about going to the Big 16. What are they thinking? I have no idea. It's hard enough just to try and find 10 good teams or even fill your schedule with teams like that. But, you know, they're who they are and I am who I am. And, you know, until they start listening to me, I guess we'll never know what's all going on. My name's George. I'm the Sports Super Genius. Welcome to my YouTube Ucast on exactly what I think is going on in the NCAA rankings. I got my own ranking, which you will hear in a minute. I appreciate for joining. One of the teams that I say look out for, the University of Texas El Paso. The Miners, they are just on a tear down there. They did lose one game, but you know what? It's just and also the Baylor Bears. Be on the lookout for them. They kind of got hornswoggled by TCU, but pretty much they're just kind of running the gamut. So those are the two little schools that I'm right now rooting for to make it in this big world we call the NCAA and get rid of some of this BCS bias. I don't think we need a championship. I think the BCS national title game is pretty close to actually being on. I just don't understand, like I said, the love and infatuation of the Southeast Conference. I don't get it. They don't play each other all of the time, and yet they don't play anybody else. They play themselves. They play themselves. They might play a couple beat-up schools. They might play some of the lesser teams in the Big Ten, you know, or they might play a lesser team in the Pac-10, which the Pac-10 is loaded with a whole bunch of lesser teams right now. So until they start playing someone, like I want to see LSU play USC. I want to see Alabama play Oregon in a couple round-robin games. You know, at least Texas went up to bat, and they are playing UCLA. UCLA did embarrass them at home, and next year Texas has to go to the Rose Bowl to take on UCLA. That's going to be quite an interesting game. At least Texas will be 1 year more matured. I did not think this year they were going to do as well as a lot of people thought they were. And so far, I'm right. I have a feeling they may lose 3 in a row. I have no doubt in my mind Nebraska can just basically run them out of the conference this weekend. So again, like I said, that's one of my big games. Like I said, coming up, Iowa and Michigan is also on my slate. That there is going to be a big one. You know, and Ohio State, I don't understand what the infatuation is with the Buckeyes. But for some reason, the Buckeyes are given just so much more credit than they deserve. They've yet to play a team. Everyone say Miami. Well, you know, Miami was cramping up in the third quarter. People are getting sick of me. But if you watched the game, you would have seen it. It was raining. I don't understand how Miami can be unprepared for a humid, wet day when it constantly does that down in Miami. So Miami isn't ready. They're not ready to play. And yet Ohio State kind of beat them up. But other than that, Ohio State is yet to play anybody. Ohio State plays Wisconsin, and it ain't until the end of the year when they have a back-to-back game, Iowa and Michigan going at it. But yet Michigan is given the number one thing. Again, my name's George. I'm the Sports Super Genius. And if you like what I have to say, then you know what? Send me your rants, send me your raves, and send them to George at thesportsupergenius.com. And right after this, I'll be right back with my top 25.
Here it is. Unbiased, pure work of genius. The Sports Super Genius 25 best football teams.
Okay, here we go. Here's my top 25. Coming in at 25 for the first time, University of Syracuse. Number 24, Maryland. Number 23, Kansas State. Number 22, Stanford. Number 21, Arkansas. Number 20, Michigan. Number 19, UTEP. Number 18, Alabama. 17, Florida State. 16, West Virginia. 15, Air Force. 14, Iowa. 13, the Nevada Wolfpack. Number 12, Ohio State. Number 11, South Carolina. Number 10, Missouri. Number 9, Auburn. Number 8, Utah. Number 7, LSU. And number 6, the Michigan State Spartans. And now for my top 5.
The number 5 ranked team.
At number 5, the University of Oregon, the Oregon Mighty Ducks.
The number 4 ranked team.
Coming in at number 4, the BCS Buster themselves, the Boise State Broncos.
The number 3 ranked team.
New to the top 3, the University of Nebraska, the Nebraska Cornhuskers.
The number 2 ranked team.
Coming in at number 2, the University of Oklahoma, the Oklahoma Sooners.
And now your nation's best team, ranked by the Sports Super Genius.
TCU. Well, let's see. TCU has got one of the harder schedules, actually. They opened off the season by beating up an Oregon State team. They beat a very good, underrated Baylor team. They pretty much took out Southern Miss. And the last 2 games against Colorado State and Wyoming, they've yet to give up a touchdown. This weekend, they're playing Brigham Young, up and coming. They got Air Force and Utah in their schedule. So you know what? If TCU runs the gamut, they will not have a doubt to play, in my opinion, in the BCS title game. Because if they could go undefeated against that schedule, that says something. Ohio State, like I said, they've yet to play anybody. And I'll tell you what, I have a feeling Michigan and Iowa both could beat Ohio State. That's one of the reasons. Oklahoma has got a very tough schedule. They've already took out Florida State. They've already taken out Texas. And you know what? They have to play in the Big 12 title game, which could put them up against Nebraska. And if they can get by Nebraska, Oklahoma, you deserve to be there. If Nebraska goes undefeated and beats Oklahoma in the Big 12 title game, they deserve to be there. But right now, this is all about TCU, just like I said. For 2 years, they are basically dominating the NCAA. But yet, they can get very little attention or anything from what the people are calling good. They're purposely kept down, despite the fact that they beat Oregon State, who, like I said, was ranked at the time. You know, granted, Tennessee Tech was a beat-up team, and they did beat them up. But when you look and see what Baylor has done this year, Baylor has basically eliminated quite a few schools amongst themselves. They have quite the offensive machine going on, and TCU basically just slammed them down. And then, like I said, they haven't given up a touchdown in 2 games. Like I said, they've taken out Buffalo, Rice, Kansas, who they totally destroyed. Texas Tech was a tough loss. But like I said, Baylor is a lot better than that, and TCU basically just shut the door down on them. But, like, you know, that's what I'm saying, is they do not look at these other schools. That's what I hate about the BCS. But TCU, you proved in to me time and time again that you do deserve to be there. If you don't like what I have to say, send them to me, George at eSports Super Genius. I'll post it on my website. I'll even post your own top 25. Again, keep listening to me here on YouTube and on my website.
Thanks for listening to the Sports Super Genius podcast. Hope to have you back as a listener. And want your opinion shared and get paid? Email them to george@thesportsupergenius.com.
Super Genius.